Razavan if IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. Delighted to have with me promoter Eddie Hearn. Eddie, no vocals today?
No vocals. I was waiting for Chisora to stick the nut in, but I know Joseph Parker's not scared of Chisora, but he was very scared up there because you just don't know what he's going to do. He got nice and close, and I think that was just Del Boy saying, "It's on, mate. No fucking around tomorrow night." And I think we're going to get a really good fight because Parker's come in a bit heavier, but in great shape. Del Boy looks in brilliant shape, and I think Parker's going to go for it. I think he's going to come out of Andy Lee, he's going to try and establish himself early, and he's going to try and knock out Chisora early. And if he does that, you're going to get an absolute firefight because Del Boy will only hold his feet, bite down on the gum shield and go to war. And I really can't wait for a brilliant card tomorrow night.
I was winding up Joseph just before the weigh-in. I said, listen, do me a favour, just push Chisora, please. I just want some views today.
Joe was like this in the head-to-head because he's like, what are you going to do? And that's what Chisora does. He's unpredictable. And, you know, people keep saying, where's the winner go, where's the loser go? Look, Joe Parker wants to become a two-time heavyweight world champion. Not sure if he can do it, but I believe he can fight for the world heavyweight title. It's up to him. Derek Chisora just loves to fight. He's a prize fighter that wants to fight for as much money as possible. He loves to give fans value for money and go to war. That's why we love him. Right? So win or lose for Del, he can fight Wilder, Ruiz, Ortiz, Zhang, Hrgovic. But the level of fight and the amount of money for that fight changes with the result of tomorrow night. So you're always going to get bundles of heart from Derek Chisora. And I think, like I said, I think we're going to get a good fight in the heavyweight main event, but also a great card as well.
We look forward to it tomorrow night. Eddie just mentioned the Deontay Wilder. What do you make of? He's done a couple of interviews where he's spoken about whether he'll fight ever again. He's still quite young for someone being in the heavyweight division. Would you like to see him carry on, though? It
just comes down to desire, really. It's a very tough sport. I mean, he's been really badly hurt in his last two fights, and you don't want to see him continuously get hurt. But at the same time, what a mad sport where you can get stopped twice in a row, right? And your popularity and your profile increases, and your value. Do you know what I mean? So I think he's got a big future in the sport. Love to see him. I think he's great for the division. But once you lose the hunger, and if he doesn't want it anymore, he should retire because he can get hurt badly and you don't want to see that. So it comes down to his desire inside.
How was your call yesterday with AB about billions?
Tonight it is actually.
Tonight?
Yeah. It's speaking to him in a bit. It's just about saying what the desire is again. Desire. What do you want, Adrian? Do you want money or do you want to make a run at it? I think he wants to make a run at it. I think that's how he's feeling. I think he's thinking, I've probably messed up quite a lot in my career. Let's have one last go at this. It's a great fight, you know. I remember watching him at 135 pounds. He boxed Gavin Rees, our guy. Jesus Christ, I thought he was one of the best fighters I've ever seen live. But, you know, do you go straight into the Conor Benn fight or do you have a fight first at 140 or whatever? So we shall see, but see what he wants to do.
Eddie, you don't really see Al Heyman fighters leave PBC or Al and fight on other network. It doesn't really happen. So what are your thoughts about...
You say that. Daniel Jacobs was with the PBC, signed with us. You know, Jesse Vargas was with the PBC, signed with us. There has been quite a few fighters that have left PBC, but I understand, you know, a certain amount of bigger ones. I think, you know, PBC clearly do a good job for the fighters, and the fighters trust them. But, you know, sometimes people move on. Fighters very rarely leave Matchroom without, you know, when we're offering them a deal. But sometimes there's a better opportunity elsewhere, or they feel there's someone that's going to give them more attention. It's just life. So, you know, if Broner thinks like there's a better route with us, love to be a part of it.
Frank Warren did a couple of interviews, or an interview this week, and he said that if they want another one or two fights before they step up, why not David Avanesian? He's a European level fighter, he's a European champion, but why not? Isn't that the right step up before he goes beyond?
Yeah, I think it's a good step up. I mean, I just feel like there's bigger fights out there that are going to fill arenas. No disrespect to David Avanesian, but outside of the boxing world, no one knows who he is. But it's a really good trade fight, But Conor Benn is the superstar. Everyone's calling him out right now because he's just boxed in Manchester with 7,000 people at Liverpool. He's from Ilford. Do you know what I mean? And the kid's a star. And if we can fight Broner or Guerrero or even Sean Porter, if he wants to come back, over Avanesian, who are we going to fight? Which one's going to generate the most money? So, you know,
but Eddie, you know, like in the UK, not a lot of people.
Don't forget, not a lot of people, you know about Avanesian. In the fact that David Avanesian was offered through us a world title eliminator against Alexis Rocha from Golden Boy, right? For the WBA. really perfect fight for him to position him for a world title shot. He didn't want it. He chose to fight Liam Taylor and defend his European title. But because he hasn't got a profile, no one actually talks about that. So the Conor Benn fight against Avanesyan, not ruling it out at all. If I can make Broner or a worldwide name over Avanesyan, I'll do it every day of the week. But you're right, Avanesyan in that next fight or the one after, that's the level that he's got to be fighting against. You know, Avanesyan shouldn't be basing his career on Conor Benn. Do you know what I mean? He's a world-class fighter. He should be trying to get some big fights, you know, for world titles. But I don't rule that fight out. But obviously, I'd much rather someone that's popular and can fill the O2 along with Conor Benn.
Also saw a clip, I think it was the same interview, where Frank said the Whyte-Fury purse split should be based on previous purses. And he says he believes it should be less than 80-20, but they'll be happy to offer 80-20.
It's very kind of him. Listen, it's no problem. We'll go to purse bids. And I will pay Tyson Fury more money than they will pay him for that fight. So let the guys make as much money as possible. If Dillian White doesn't get the right offer and he is not respected in the negotiations, we will go to purse bids. If he gets a fair offer, we'll take the fight. You know, and I saw his comments, you know, we won't be negotiating a rematch clause. Well, probably because Dillian White won't give you one, mate. That's why. Do you know what I mean? So if you want to make a fair offer, we'll make the fight. If not, just let everyone bid. And whoever wants to pay the most money gets the fight.
Danny Jacobs, John Ryder, done deal?
Nearly. It's a great fight. I mean, I didn't expect it. Danny's been wanting to fight in the UK for years. There's a lot of these American fighters there. Two-time world champion, huge name. And it would be a massive fight for John Ryder. And it would be a big fight for London. So, working on it, not done yet.
You've said about 20 times this is your 43rd show tonight in Uzbekistan, yeah. 44 tomorrow. How do you sum up the year?
A challenge, thrilling. I mean, you go back, someone said to me the other day, what was your highlight moments of the year? And you look back and you go, okay, well, for me, Estrada Chocolatito 2 was one of my favourite fights of all time. Breaking the US attendance record at Dallas Cowboys for Canelo against Billy Joe Saunders. Haney beating Linares and then following it up with a Jojo Diaz win. Who can forget Madison Square Garden for Kambosos against Teofimo Lopez. The thrill of Spurs with AJ Usyk. Didn't go our way, but, you know, on we march. Going back to Headingley, filling that up with Josh Warrington against Lara and Casey Taylor and Conor Benn. Smith Fowler card was one that was brilliant to watch as well. Even like Sandor Martin and Kiko Martinez for Spain, winning those big fights against Mikey Garcia and Kid Galahad. Female boxing just going through the roof. It's been a brilliant year, and the international expansion, shows in Mexico, really good shows in Spain now with La Haraja, big crowds, Italy as well. Australia's coming on strong for next year. It's just been a brilliant year, and I don't see anyone, well, there isn't anyone doing what we're doing. I'm not after pats on the back, but we're changing the game globally, and you know, no one is promoting globally or even internationally, to be honest with you, and especially during a pandemic.
I overheard you say in a previous interview about announcing shows for the first quarter of next year, probably next week. Yeah. How much in the back of your mind are you worried about potential lockdown and the disruption it can cause once again? Yeah,
worried, as you know, a lot of people are, and but you have to think on your feet. If we have to go behind closed doors, we shall. But it's more likely now that we take things internationally, I think, because there's certain countries that are fine to stage major events in. If the UK want to shut down the opportunity to stage major events, we'll have to look elsewhere.
I saw a picture of your final one last week with Abdul Razak. He posted yesterday, Eddie signed me. Yeah. Interested with him and Hezbollah, Ed?
Yeah, I've never really met. He was a lovely young man, and had a bit of a laugh in the Middle East with him this week, and seems to be creating a lot of headlines. So
could be some big numbers.
Never rule it out, mate. Never rule it out.
Eddie Hearn, IFL TV. Thank you very much.